Right, legends, just gonna do a quick breakdown on ES, okay, and what I think is gonna happen going forward. Yeah, so let's start. What's standing out to me? What level stands out to me? Well, let's start off with previous all-time high. Also, if we look, August high. Why August high? Well, you can see once we broke, back above the yearly open and took our previous all-time high, the initial high made, initial monthly high made was here. September, we attempted to break above it, but failed. And this month, October, we're starting to reject from it. So, I'm not saying it's not a trade idea for now, just observing what's happening. So that's sort of created a range, hasn't it? It's created a range between August high and yearly open. So, here. I mean, heading into the election could be a range, possibly. So until it makes a clean break above previous, August high, then I'd say okay, new highs, and we can start measuring out extended targets. And then to the downside, if it breaks below here, then we'll look for targets below, possibly, I don't know, somewhere around here. Okay, we'll see. On the lower time frame, it'll be clearer. But for now, what I can say is, I'd say range bound environment. Okay, more or less. I mean, August range is capping it, really, isn't it? That's August high. We've deviated it. Could it possibly push back? We'll start looking at the lower time frame and then getting a clearer picture. So let's go to do that. So on the daily, we can see that. So on the daily, I can sort of see two ranges now. So the one big range is obviously is between yearly open and August high. So which is this, and then within that I can see here and then here. Okay, playing these two. I haven't drawn it out properly, but you get the picture. Okay, so it tries to. So previously, it's attempted to break August high, failed, deviated. Where was the first target to reach? Previous all-time high, and then after that, once you break a clean break below that, here. So let me just mark that in a different color, so just don't get confused when I go to the lower time frames. Let's do that there. So that's going to be previous all-time high, that color there. So I'd anticipate the same thing, but it's sort of making a lower high, but it doesn't mean too much just yet. I wouldn't say lower high I'm gonna drop all the way down. Not yet anyway, unless it breaks here. Okay, so sometimes when I'm not sure on a directional bias or a clear directional view, or I don't know, I think the top is in, I'm gonna crash here. Fuck all of that. I'll go with what's apparent. Okay, and this yearly open, as you can see, is a pivotal level here. Obviously, here's the open key support. When you broke below it, to the sell-off, came more or less towards here, decent sell-off, and this point I want it consolidated, here. So this price action here, okay, when I showed you on the monthly basis, we could be getting that, and once that got cleared, it pushed higher. So that could be the same thing happening here. So what do I anticipate now? Well, as long as this holds, I'm anticipating a range bound environment. Where would be the first objective? It would be here, previous all-time high. If that gets cleared, just like here, where was the next downside objective? It was the yearly open. So if this breaks, I'll be aiming towards the yearly open. Doesn't have to get there exactly, but when we go to the lower time frame, there'll be objective to reach for. So the two ranges are from here towards here. Oh, fuck off. From here towards here. If that breaks, from there towards there. Okay, just no trigger entries yet. Just looking at identifying where are my ranges, where are we trading within. I mean, for all I know, we could just keep doing here this, and then it breaks above. So if it is going to be bullish like that, I can get out there. I'll see what happens unless it breaks below it, but that would be an objective, and I understand that this could be, a bottoming out pattern, like a deviation. There's no reason why we can't even do this. So if it breaks above here now, okay, even if it does it from here, it doesn't have to come here, but if it breaks above here, it holds. So previously, as you can see, it deviated it and it got back below immediately the next day. It deviated it. What would be a clean break if it breaks above, holds, consolidates, and then that would be it. So for example, say here's the yearly open, and say where, so I'm just trying to describe what I consider anyway clean break. Yes, resistance. So at this point we're wondering, hang on a minute, what's going to happen here? Is this going to be a rejection or is it a clean break? I don't know yet. And then see that there, it breaks and holds. So it rejects it, comes back below it. So at this point, there's no need to go back above there. Then it's there if it's gonna push lower. But then as soon as this happens, that's a clean break above, because that's holding above, it's like or acceptance above. And at that point, get a clear target towards here. Okay, and these are just extended targets there. So if it does the same thing again, where it breaks above and then holds, then I would consider that continuation to the upside. Obviously if it does that there, then that would be a clear target, initial target. Then maybe start throwing fib extensions. I mean, it's not the only way of doing it, so there's different ways of mapping out, you know, high targets. But if you was to do that, I usually like to go with fib extensions, 127.2, 161.8, and then 200 from that high to that low. But we'll worry about that when the time comes. For now, market's telling me still range bound. So let's break this down further now. So if you break this down further and say, okay, what do I look for trigger? So now I can pretty much do a similar thing now. So we can see deviated, next day close back below it, that led to target there and then there. There's no reason why it couldn't come to here. And as we can see, this level here, if I just highlight it, it's a pivotal level, isn't it? It's an actual magnet for price there. Couple of attempts above it, fails, and then towards there. Here, clean, this is where the clean break comes in. So at this point you're thinking there, any pullback you're looking to sell. But then if it did, you wait, but it doesn't. For me, the way I trade, it gave me no trigger. But once it cleared, but at the same time, it's still resistance. Okay, so unless like in this case, what I was looking for at the time was clean breakdown. If you start to turn here, then I'd step in. I usually prefer to step in the middle of a leg once I know the level's been cleared or a level's holding as resistance. But once it broke above here and held, then that's it. That opened the gates. I mean, obviously short term towards here, and then the August high, and then if it was going to go high, it would have been here. But we know that that's a big resistance, so this is where we be cautious. We can't always go for the extreme ends. So before I waffle on too much, let's break this down further and say, okay, what's capping the market? And you can see it's this level here. Okay, so that's resistance. I mean, can I refine that a bit more? No, let's go with that. That's fine. So that's support there, resistance, sell off. Bit of congestion here. I mean, a couple of hours, not much, and then pushes up. So that is a deviation of this level. It attempts it once more and then fails. That says to me, as long as we don't make a clean break below here, I'd say the next probability is it pushes towards here next. And then I don't know what's going to happen here. This could just be the springboard up, but if it does that, breaks down, and then it gives me a further breakdown, just like I showed you from the bullish side of things, the acceptance above a level or the break, or clean break. This would then be it. And then at that point towards here, what's the objective for me personally? I'd say just around here, and then we'll see what happens around here. Okay, I'd rather go for more conservative targets than trying to milk the extreme end. If it goes further, it goes further, I don't care. But so the two plays would be from there towards there. If that breaks, then from there towards there, and then I'll deal with what happens afterwards. Because if it's going to be range bound, we could play it to the upside as well then. Okay, we'll see what happens. So let's narrow it down further and say, okay, what am I looking for now? So I've got to see, I mean, this week, let's look at the intra-week price action we got this week. I mean, looking at the weekly, how have we closed? I mean, taking a kind of a bearish close, okay, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. I mean, look at here. I mean, this is where the context is important, okay. Everything was fundamentals pointing higher, so this would have trapped a lot of people. So this is why I wait. What if this happens here? Okay, I mean, I don't see a breakout just yet ahead of the elections, but you never know. Okay, and these markets don't surprise me now. But let's go around with what I want to see for the trigger then. So if I look what's capping the market, I can probably pull out this level. If I look around here, so let's do that in a different color so it doesn't get confused. So now what I'm doing is I've identified where the bigger range is, where would be the objective. These smaller ranges are more towards my entry triggers now. So now we'll start mapping out plans. Let's go with the easy one. Let's start with the easy ones, okay? So to the long side, okay, to the long side, whatever happens, I don't get how deep it goes, lower it goes. For the long side, if it ever happened that we got above here, clean break above and held, and that's my objective, okay? To the downside, the easy cut scenario, resistance, break above, pushes towards here, clean break below, so wicks it, that's not clean break, clean break down, and then like that, then that's the target, and then whatever's that gonna be. I mean, we'll cover this part later on. But for here, if it makes a clean break below here, it's already proven itself. Sorry, here, and here. So now with the context, it's coming off of a key level, okay? Then breakdown, trigger, then from there it would be towards there. And then if it breaks this level, then we will aim towards there. Now, if we break below here, what was the level on its way down? What would be the next resistance level? And I would argue, or I would say possibly, I'd say this level. So obviously we got level, it doesn't go in one straight line, okay, but it's gonna have, you know, some sort of pivots or, you know, barriers on the way. So before we even got to that yearly open, this was the key level. So if it breaks that, then I'd be aiming towards here. So it's just here. So the main part to take from this is, if it breaks below here, this is where it's going to be a target towards, but on the way there you're going to be wary of this level, okay, and then obviously this would be like an extension of that. So as you can see, what proves it to the upside as well is, once it clears the upside, then that starts the bullish run, doesn't it? So we've broken out from the monthly range and split the monthly range into two, and then on the lower time frame, level to level, level to level, okay, so that's it, and level to level there. That's more or less it. I mean, so what would I want to see when the new week starts? From what I've explained, I think at least towards here, I mean, I don't give a shit about, you know, massive targets. I'm happy just day trade, so short-term trading it until a clear trend is either a day trade, could evolve into a swing trade, or, you know, I've got a clear, you know, fundamental view that yes, this is low, we're gonna go all the way out, back up. So let's break this down further and say, okay, what do I want to see? So start the new week, ideally just a retest there, look for a shorting scenario there. I approach from more a swing point of view, but I know that if it makes a clean break above here, I'll probably look to cut my position, okay. If I don't like it there and, you know, it doesn't give me what I want, okay, then I'll wait for a clean breakdown scenario. So I'll just treat this as one range. So just like here, we're range bound here, and if you clear this level, then I stepped in when it was below here, because this could have just been a sweep, a deviation at that point, and push higher. So what I'll wait for now is, I know which level needs to break for me to step in, and I'm happy missing out on, you know, the first portion of the move. I get in when the probabilities are higher. I believe the probability is high below here. So if it breaks below here now, so that was a deviation, we couple with the fact that we're coming off resistance. If I get an entry trigger there, hold below, so here it deviates, it goes back above it. So I want it to break, okay. So if this had done this, then that would have been my trigger there, because that's a consolidation, and then a further displacement away from the key resistance says to me it's accepted below this level, it wants to go lower, then that's a target. So if it does this here now, so maybe a bounce to start the week off, and then if it does that there, then that's my trigger towards there. And if that then breaks, probably get a bounce there, who knows, or I can close my position. And if it breaks it, look for the exact same thing, because I know where do I want to enter, take, you know, trade at around these specific levels, okay. And then target would then be towards here, and then extended targets towards here, and then I don't know what's going to happen there. Is it going to bust through this level, or is it going to rebound and maintain, you know, some sort of range between the yearly open and August range? I don't know then, okay. So clean break above here, I think we start trending up. Clean break below this yearly open, we start breaking out. Till then, just play the range, okay. So I hope that helped. That's how I'm looking to approach the ES. Yeah, let's see how next week unfolds.